Hello everybody, Sean here, and we're looking at the final boss of the new Dark Souls 2 DLC, the Iron King. And this final boss is a little tricky, but a little tip before you go in. You can actually stand inside the fog door and the boss will not trigger, so make sure you go into the fog door before applying any buffs. Gives you a few more seconds to actually use them instead of wasting them during the animation of going through the door. Tip number 2 before you go in. Make sure you kill all the Nadalius totems found outside the battle arena. You can do so with the wedges that you found earlier in the level. There are also some extra ones to be found after you reactivate the Brume Tower using the key item. You can ride one of the elevators up into a hall. There's a chest, and it'll contain more of the wedges that you need to kill them. So make sure you do that, as if you do not, it'll make the battle arena significantly smaller, as going near them will cause the boss to be healed pretty well indefinitely, so you simply won't be able to kill him. The third tip is do not, under any circumstance, come into this fight wearing a piece of Velstat's armor. Now, there's lore reasons for this. I don't want to get super spoilery, as Dark Souls people do tend to want to figure this stuff out themselves. However, suffice it to say that this character and Velstat are connected lore-wise, and they don't happen to like each other a whole lot. So if you come in here wearing Velstat's armor, he's going to be very upset with you, and he's going to instantly buff himself up and just go to town on your character. So make sure that's not a thing you do. So when you actually get into the fight, you're going to notice he has a longsword and a gigantic greatsword. The first half of the fight is going to be almost like you're fighting a character in PvP. The longsword can be blocked, the greatsword can be blocked as well, although you're going to take a ton of stamina damage if you do so. So basically, you just want to dodge around. You could block the longsword and then just dodge away, or just dodge under the greatsword when he does those swings. He swings it pretty slowly, the greatsword that is, and you can see the animation as he winds it up. So it tends to be pretty simple to get around. And all you want to do is just dodge around him, get behind him, and maybe take a swing or two, depending on how fast your weapon is. You can see my longsword, I'm sometimes able to get 2 hits in. 3 hits on the rare occasion where he messes up his combo, and I'm already in a good position. Once he gets to around 50 to 60% health, he will get rid of the longsword, and you'll see that he now has a buffed greatsword covered in dark flame. And this is where the fight, honestly, gets a little easier in my opinion, because now that he only has the one weapon, his amount of combos drops significantly. And it becomes a battle of endurance and dodging. So what you're going to see is he has 2 special attacks. One where he sweeps his sword across very slowly, but the magic effect on his blade right here, the magic effect on his blade is much bigger, so the area of effect almost doubles in reach and the damage will skyrocket. The second special attack is this, I don't know exactly what you'd want to call it, but he plunges his sword into the ground. There's going to be a shockwave near him, so make sure you get away. You'll see every time he does that, I instantly back up. So you got to get away. There's the initial shockwave, and then the orbs appear. The orbs also will do damage, so make sure you roll between them in the spaces in between each orb. As for what to bring into the fight, I'm using a magic longsword. My intelligence and my faith and my strength and dex are almost all the same. They're all around the 40 to 45 range. I found I was hitting ever so slightly harder with magic-based weapons. Also to note, I hit a little bit harder with the Manslayer, the Poison Katana. However, I'm not using the Manslayer because I don't like the animations for it. I found the recovery time on the animation just to be a few frames too long. I like the longsword. It's nice and quick. Nice and snappy. It's perfect for my playstyle. So that's what I would suggest, trying to use some sort of magic-based attacks. You'll see when I ran into the fight that I actually had my crystal weapon up and I was dealing tons of damage then. However, crystal weapon doesn't even last that long, unfortunately. The final tip for this fight is where you want to dodge. You'll notice most of the time I'm dodging to his left, where he's holding the sword. The reason for this is when he buffs the sword with the dark flame, the hitbox on the sword gets much bigger than what you would think it is. So what'll happen if you dodge to his right, you'll notice, before I even say that, you'll notice most of his combos, he'll swing from his left to his right, just like that. So he goes from a left down to his right-hand side. If you dodge to his right-hand side, I found what kept happening is I would dodge into the sword and take magic damage because the hitbox on the sword is just so darn big. So don't dodge to his right. What you want to do is dodge to his left for most of the attacks. The only exception to this is when he's swinging from the right to the left, of course, or when he's doing this attack where you have to go left, or like to his right, sorry, where you have to go to his right to dodge beneath the sword. Other than that, dodge to his left or you're going to roll right into the hitbox. It's super annoying, but it happens. Aside from those tips, really, it's just going to come down to dodging. I guarantee you, you're going to have to die a few times to get used to when exactly to dodge, but that's pretty much all it's going to come down to. Once you learn the pattern of these dodges, this fight gets really easy. You can see here that I'm just rolling around in circles. Honestly, I find the first half of the fight harder than the second half because when he's got the longsword and the great sword, he does a lot more combo damage because once he hits you once, he's like, oh goody, I'm gonna keep hitting you now. At least when he's like this, when he hits you once, he stops, so you can recover, usually. Not always, but usually. But anyways, that's it. I hope this helps you even a little bit. I thank you for watching, and we'll see everyone next time.